once again, it's Tuesday, and that means that the CQ has been sounded. This is not a trivial day. This is not Trivial Tuesday. This is important, and we're calling all stations, and you yourself, you could have your own radio station, but you have some station in life because you are an important person, so calling all stations, which means CQ, we'd love to talk to anybody. And you just happen to be more than anybody. You are a somebody. So we're glad that you have joined us. Interesting ideas. And that is the theme for this week. Because, okay, here's the world. Right now, we're waiting to see if Donald Trump will be indicted. And that will capture all the news for a while, which of course will make Joe Biden glad, because when the news is about Trump, then the news isn't about Joe and his family, who obviously now we know received over $1 million in services rendered, whatever that is, from the Chinese. So maybe he should be indicted too. And of course, I'm sure that Donald Trump will remind us of that if that happens. But what that taught me is for me or you to comment on the world situation, which is an incredible mess. We have a total lack of leadership in almost every arena of life. And what are we going to do about it? Well, there's not much you and I can do about it except pray, and that's important. And we will begin a program this week called More Power to You. And it is the prayer podcast, because everybody needs to learn how to pray. And that includes me, and together we'll talk about that. But today I want to get back to exactly how I can be of help to you, based on what I know from long years of scars and a few stars, and my long experience as a teacher, as a storyteller, as a business performance coach, and as a international broadcaster, and as an entrepreneur. I've done all of those things. As my wife would say, he hasn't had a real job in years. And I guess that's true. Here we go. Interesting ideas. And why we call it interesting ideas. And today we're going to call it TiT for TaT. Yeah, TiT for TaT. And I'm going to tell you what that means. It's not what you think, but let me introduce TiT for TaT. Here we go. The program begins right now. Okay, now here is the secret. It's no secret. I talk about it every day. The world will be different because you have different ideas. Now, one of the things that the Chat GPT, the artificial intelligence, is going to do is, unless you have interesting, unique ideas, everybody will be able to copy you. Already, I am discovering that some of my stuff is actually being, it's out there. It's all over the internet. And what the chat stuff does, what the artificial intelligence stuff does, it goes out and searches the internet for all kinds of stuff, and then it puts it together and gives it to you. And some of the stuff that people are getting has been stolen from me by the Chat GPT. Well, that's the way it's going to be. I know that. So that means that I have to keep getting better and smarter so that I'm the only one who has some of that information, some of that knowledge, some of that wisdom, insight, and truth, because otherwise I'm simply helping other people just copy me, maybe steal from me, and from many others, maybe you. And they're able to put it out there as something that the artificial intelligence writers, automatic copiers, the robots got for you from people like me. So I have to keep up and be unique because everybody else will be able to be rather mediocre, but more than average and a little bit better than they are. So, how do we do that? Interesting ideas, continually praying and thinking about things that are new ideas. Interesting from interesting people that have both good and bad in them, but you try and sort it out. And so, here we go. Interesting ideas, as we say, leads to insight, influence, impact, and income in our changing world. That's why every day you need to try and come up with a new idea in some way. If you want to be unique and different and not be replaced by the robots, you have to stay ahead of the robots. What can you do that no robot can do? What can you be that for sure no robot can be? Obviously, we're seeing all kinds of things being replaced, and all kinds of people are on the verge of being replaced. Because the robot can do it, probably in most cases with less mistakes than you can do it, and we can press on. And we are in the middle of a coming recession. That is probably going to happen. And so what are we going to do? 23 may be a tragedy for many, and many of us are going to have to reconnect with a new sense of destiny in 23. A new sense of destiny in 23. I just came up with a new interesting idea for a program. Maybe we should work on that together. A new sense of destiny in 23. Now, let's go through, and by the way, I'm going to have my friend Peter join me. Peter McClellan and his little colleague Angus will be joining What It Takes Radio and be a part of the program and helping us build this business and make it go. And since we are in one of the major industries, even though we're small and a startup, the podcast business is going to go and grow. Right now, traditional radio is really in trouble. They aren't going to be gone in 3 to 5 years, but they're going to have a hard time making money in the 3 to 5 years that are ahead of them. And we'll see what happens. We'll see who survives. I love the old-fashioned radio. We'll do a little reminiscing about that sometime. You know, as I oftentimes say, once you've seen the glow of the old vacuum tubes, you never quite get over your love of old radio. We'll talk about that. But here we go. Insight. Ideas that will give you insight. Tell me, TiT. This is true. Right now, if I would ask you to sit down, which, by the way, if I were interviewing you, and if I were coaching a boss to interview you, that's one of the questions that I would give you. I would put a nice piece of paper in front of you, and I would hand you a nice pen and say, by the way, you can keep that pen, just a remembrance of this. But in the next 20 minutes, I want you to write down the things that matter, things that are important to you that are true. This is true. Tell me. See, I don't necessarily want to know what you can do now. I'd like to find out what you know and what you believe. Because if you know some of the right stuff, And if you believe some of the right stuff, you're qualified, because we'll take care of the rest. Because that means you're the right person. So what do you know and what do you believe? This is true. Could you do that? Would you like to know how to do that? Well, we might be able to help you. By the way, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for an opportunity, remember what we oftentimes say today, it's belief-based marketing. BBM. I want to know what you believe. I want to know what you believe is true. All right? Think about that. Hey, we're at 11 minutes, and we're going to keep it short. You know, you're busy. You've got a lot of work to do. Plus, you have a little bit of a homework radio assignment to make you a good, well-positioned person in the age of the taking over of the robots. Hey, we'll be right back with TaT. Okay, now there's a lot of things out there, a lot of beliefs out there. TaT, that ain't true. That's a lie. That ain't true. Yeah, all of the bad English is intended because what we're talking about are things that aren't true. Yeah, do that. That aren't true, but let's say that ain't true. One of the very powerful ways I've taught people when they are in a debate or they're in a contest of wits and wills is not to argue. But there will be sometimes where I'll just simply say, that's not true. That's not true. Now, then I'll stop. I don't defend myself. I don't attack them. I don't try to explain. But now they are in a position of having to tell me why it is. And right now they are in the defensive position, not me. That's not true. And so there's no need to continue with you talking about that because that's not true. See, now that's a little bit of a tough stuff. But as I say, if you know how to do it, you don't win every argument, but you don't lose many either. That's not true. Now there's a lot of things that I will simply say, that's not true. Right now, the New York Times has a big article that came from the United States and says, we truly are in a climate crisis. That's not true. I'm sorry. Yes, most people believe that. Lots of people believe that. But it's not true. That's not true. Okay. That's it. Now, we can talk about that, but you have to understand that's not true. Now, there are other things that you could put in that category. You know, that ain't true. That ain't true. That's not true. You know what you've just done? You've become a person who is seeking insight. You're trying to understand the times, understand the people, understand what's going on, and then have the insight, the extraordinary ability to see what you should do. In a world that is deeply confused, because oftentimes they don't know what is true, and they don't know what is not true. That will make you a person of character, confidence, competence, perhaps a courage, all those good things. When you can know TiT for TaT. I'm Stan Houston. These are interesting ideas. We'll be right back. When I come and do some coaching work and some teaching work at your company and organization, very simply, I change things. That's right. Things change when I come. I do not do the same old consulting, which the old joke is the consultant takes all your money and leaves no change. No, when we work, we change things. Or we don't charge for you. Things change. You have to change. We help you change. We can help your business know what they believe, what their mission is, have the character and the competence of less than 3% of the population who know who they are, where they belong, what they want, what their goals are, where they're going, and a way to start. And a way to start to change things. So reach out to me. And by the way, if you want to be on the radio and do what I'm doing, we can help you do that. We kind of invented this whole podcasting thing along with a number of others. And we can help you understand how you can be a world-class podcaster. Yeah, reach the world. And we can also help you be a person of less fear. We can help you be a business performance coach. And we can help you be a world-class, spirit-led entrepreneur. That's what we do. We do a lot of that, and I think we do it well. Reach out to me at stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. Always close with a benediction. So hopefully whether you're mad or glad from what you've heard, I still pronounce a blessing on you. Thank you for giving me this time. Evaluate it. Think about it. Let it sit on your head. Perhaps stir your mind. Maybe touch your heart. And then decide what you're going to change or what you are going to do. Again, best and blessings. Till next time, I'm Stan Houston with interesting ideas. Bye for now.